So you're trying to choose between Keller Williams and eXp Realty. Well, I think I'm pretty qualified to talk a little bit about the differences, considering I started my real estate journey with Keller Williams and I've now been at eXp Realty for about the same amount of time. So in this video, I'm going to break down all of the differences you should be aware of, why I moved, and I'm going to give you a very honest perspective of both, because the reality is they're both good brokerages. And a lot of people on YouTube, on the internet, are really going to try and sway you in one direction. I have my obvious preference. I'm at eXp, but I am going to give you a pretty honest breakdown of what these two brokerages offer and which one might be a good fit for you. Because at the end of the day, I would never say one is better for everyone. I think it really depends on a few factors that I'll cover in this video. What's up, everyone? It's Eric B. Preston here. I'm a licensed agent with eXp Realty. I'm also the founder and CEO of Agent Launch. We help real estate agents build and own systems, create systems that they own that'll help them scale up to $500K a year plus. If you're not subscribed already, be sure to subscribe if you're into real estate marketing content. I drop new content like this every single week. So without further ado, hit that subscribe button and the little bell if you want to get notified, and let's get into this video. So eXp versus Keller Williams, big debate in the real estate community. A lot of people talk about this. I'm going to break down a little bit of the differences and why I joined eXp, and let's do a little bit of an analysis by the numbers and let's get into it. But before I do that, I just want to say one thing. I really enjoyed my time at Keller Williams, and I thought the leadership at our office specifically was awesome. I really love them, so shout out to them. Thank you for helping me get my real estate career started. This is not a bashy video of anyone, so I just wanted to throw that out there. So another thing before I get into that as well is I've personally been in over 150 real estate offices presenting to realtors on digital marketing for real estate. I've been in about 40 different Keller Williams offices, okay? So I don't know if there's anyone more qualified to talk about this than myself. I have literally been at Keller Williams for a year and a half. I've been at eXp for a year and a half. I've seen both sides. I've been in a lot of Keller Williams offices. And the one key difference I want to start with is this. eXp is, your experience is, I'm going to call it stable, and your experience at Keller Williams is variable. And the one thing I mean about that is Keller Williams is a franchise model. So eXp is not, meaning Keller Williams, people license their brand to open a franchise, right? An office in a specific market, and they call those market centers. Now, your experience with Keller Williams is going to 100% depend, maybe not 100%, but a big part of it is going to depend on your specific market center. So to be very transparent, I have been to, like I said, about 40 different Keller Williams, and the variability rate is quite big. So you may have an amazing experience at one and not such an amazing experience at another. And so that's the big thing with Keller Williams, is your experience is going to differ depending on the specific market center that you're a part of and the leadership that opened that market center. eXp Realty is not a franchise model, meaning it's one company, you're under one roof no matter where you are. However, there is some variability because you still will have a managing broker, and you will still have your onboarding team and your admin team that are specific to your market. And just like anything, your experience with different people is going to vary, right? There's going to be some markets where like your managing broker is, the most amazing human on the planet. My managing broker is the most amazing human on the planet, and he's literally amazing. And then in some markets, like, you may not think that way, right? So your experience with any brokerage is always going to depend on the people involved, okay? So that's my big thing. The second really big thing I want to talk about is more just like, let's just compare these side by side in terms of the numbers. So eXp is an 80-20 split. And before I go into this, eXp is the same. This is in North America. This is not in Portugal, it's a 75-25 split. In other markets, it can vary. So everything I say in this video, these things can be varied, so don't take them as fact. But generally speaking, in Canada and the US, eXp is an 80-20 split, meaning you keep 80% of your commission, eXp takes 20% of your commission, up until you've paid eXp $16,000. So there's a $16K cap. Now, once you've made $80,000 in GCI, 20% of that is $16K. So your cap is 16,000, then you don't have a split after that. There's a small deal fee, and that's capped as well. Keller Williams is they say it's a 70-30 split, but it's actually a 64-36 split. So if we do 64-36, the reason is the market center will keep 30% of your commission up until their cap. Now, I'm not going to tell you what your cap is because it can vary, but generally speaking, it's about an $16,000 or $18,000 cap from what I've seen at Keller Williams, but it can vary depending on your market center. So I'm not saying that's set in stone. So 64-36 because the brokerage, the market center will keep 30%, but then the what's the word I'm looking for? Not the franchise, but the actual licensing fee for the Keller Williams brand, you pay a royalty of 6% to them. So in reality, it's actually a 64-36 split, and the cap can be like 16 to 18K, something like that. But there's also, the people who own the market center can make a deal with you, right? They can give you a 10K cap. They really like you. Not to push that as like you're going to get that as a new agent. You probably won't. But in some instances, if you're part of a team, you can have a lowered cap, right? And that you have a team cap. There's all kinds of variability that goes into this, is what I'm trying to say. But generally speaking, they have a similar cap, Keller Williams and eXp, but Keller Williams, you just pay it off faster. So if you're not producing a lot in your first year, it's more beneficial to be under a 80-20 split than a 64-36 because you keep more of your money in the beginning. Okay, so the next question is, what happens with that percentage that Keller Williams or eXp actually keeps? Well, you take this 20% here and you take this 36, really it's 30 for Keller Williams. And basically eXp, what they will do is eXp will roughly share 50% of that 20% that they keep back with their agents in the form of their revenue sharing program. I will make another video on the revenue share program. There's a lot of information online. Feel free to reach out to me, or you can go to collaborativemovement.com. That's our eXp group. You can see our value prop. You can see a bit about the revenue share and kind of all the details in a little more detail. So I'll put a link below if you want to go to collaborativemovement.com, check out our group. If you're interested, you can apply and you can talk to me directly, but that'll give you more information on how the revenue share works. But just to give you some context, eXp has a revenue share and Keller Williams has a profit share. And so the reality is a revenue share is much better because it means for every $100 eXp makes, they virtually give $50 back to the agents that helped grow the brokerage. Keller Williams has a profit share, meaning they give you a percentage of the profit that the market center makes. And the reality is a lot of market centers aren't that profitable. So the difference in this is huge. Like the profit share at Keller Williams was not much. The most people make there it's not that much. Like I think the highest earner is like, I don't want to speak to this because I don't know the exact numbers, but I saw the numbers of like the highest earner and it wasn't that much. Whereas eXp, like I already make a 6-figure passive income with eXp in a year and a half. And that's life-changing, right? And so I'm able to just do what I'm best at and focus on coaching and mentoring the people that join us and helping them succeed. And I love that. And I get paid passively for that. And that's really nice. So the revenue share is, in terms of this comparison, is much stronger than the profit share. You'll notice in these models, there's a lot of similarities, right? And if you didn't know this, the founder of eXp was a Keller Williams top producing agent, Glenn Sanford. In my view, eXp's was kind of the evolution of the Keller Williams model. It built a lot on the foundation of it and changed some things around. So this is one of the things people will always look at, but I'm going to be honest with you, the vast majority of people, unless you are with a really good team who has a lot to offer that you can then leverage and offer to people to join you. Like I'm currently building a agent attraction material and a fully built out CRM, webinars and all this stuff, basically to help our agents build their teams or attract other agents using our value proposition. Unless you're part of a group that can help you with agent attraction, like most people don't end up building a significant amount of people underneath them. So I don't want you to get confused and think like you're going to join Keller Williams or eXp and you're going to attract hundreds of agents and make millions of dollars. It generally doesn't work that way. There are some groups who do this really well, ours being one of them, but generally I just want to be real with you. It's like people will sell you on this because they always have an agenda of attracting you to the company, but I just got to be real with you. It's tough to really get traction with it unless you put some energy into it and you have a really good value proposition backing it up. So that's really what we try to equip our agents with, because a lot of groups out there, a lot of sponsors and whatnot, don't necessarily have huge value propositions. Some of them do, some of them don't. So that's just important to understand, is this revenue share versus profit share thing that everyone will focus on. For most people, doesn't amount to too much. I'm just being honest with you. For me, it has. For my sponsor, Jason, it has. For a couple of my sponsors, they're well on their way to making it be really successful. But again, it's not always going to be that way. So anyways, let's move on. Let's keep going down the ladder here. So let's talk about software. I'm going to be very honest with you about this, and I apologize to Keller Williams in advance for what I might say. But eXp contracted, I'm going to apologize to eXp and Keller Williams. So eXp contracts KV Core, which is a third-party company. And so they give all of their agents KV Core for free. There's a few brokerages that do this, like Royal LePage in Canada. There's another one I can't remember that also gives you KV Core. eXp gives you KV Core. So that's free with your fees, your standard fees. Keller Williams went out and built their own. called Command. I'll be honest with you, I don't like either of these platforms. Now, I feel like I'm one of the more qualified people to talk about platforms because we've worked with over 1,000 agents on this, and I've had this conversation hundreds of times of like which platform works. We've tested, split tested different websites, which generate leads more effectively, which follow up with leads more effectively, all this stuff. We've done this. Like, we are very well versed on this. I will never work with a Command website. Command is, in my opinion, one of the worst platforms ever created. And Keller Williams is pushing it so hard. I was at family reunion last year. It's all they talk about. But the reality is they haven't ironed out anything in this platform. And all I hear from Keller Williams agents is that it's terrible, it doesn't work. So I'm sorry, Keller Williams in advance. I'm sorry, eXp. I think that KV Core is a pretty good platform. It is a pretty good platform. As far as lead generation, it struggles in some markets. And I think that there's better platforms out there than both of these. I prefer Real Geeks and Chime. I have links in the description if you guys want discounts on those and check them out. We tend to just work with a small group of websites these days. KV Core is one of them. We find KV Core works pretty well in most markets. In some markets, it struggles a little. Real Geeks and Chime work in every market, generating leads from Google. They just do a really good job of presenting the information, capturing leads, following up with people. They're really great for that. KV Core is really strong on the CRM side. On the lead generation side, it's good in some markets and it's okay in others. Command, I've never seen work in any market. We won't work with it. It's like some platforms out there, like we just won't touch. We won't work with them. Command's one of them. I just caution you with Keller Williams that, and I'm sorry to Keller Williams, but I think they need to do some work on this side of things. They're gonna sell you on Command being the best thing ever. It's really not. And I've used it, I've tried it, I really tried to work with it. It just didn't really work well. So that's just me being real and honest with everyone. I have used these platforms and that's my take on it. So my bigger picture to this is don't join a brokerage for the free software they give you, because what you're doing in that position is you're making yourself a renter. You're saying, I'm gonna rent stuff from you and I'm gonna buy into you just to rent things back from you. You need to be an owner in your business. You need to create ownership of the things you use. You need to use your own email address. You need to use your own platform. You should never really use your @kw.com or @exp.com or @remax.net or whatever email address, because if you ever change brokerages, now everyone who could potentially email you or reply back to those emails just get lost. And so you don't ever want to get tied to your real estate brokerage with software, with your email address, with all this kind of stuff. You need to be an owner and be a little bit independent, okay? That's software. I apologize in advance for just being brutally honest, but I want to be honest with my audience here and give you the real picture. I don't love either of them. KV Core is pretty good. I do agree that there is value in having KV Core for free, especially as a newer agent, especially to get you started. It does give you a lot of really good tools. Command, in my view, can give you some fundamental tools and some stuff, but I just haven't ever seen it really work at the way they've really talked it up to be. So I want to go back for a second, the rev share versus profit share. Okay, so people get stuck on this for a lot of reasons. When people talk down about the revenue share and that eXp Realty agents are trying to help grow eXp as a company, of course they are. There's an incentive to do so. It creates a coaching relationship where, like, you come in under me, I'm now your mentor and I can help you succeed, and I don't have to charge you money, because if you succeed, eXp will pay me through the revenue share program. So it creates a lot of interesting business relationships that have been incredibly fruitful for me, for some of my partners, and I am a really big believer in this model. I really stand by it, and the deeper I get into it, the value I see in these relationships. But a lot of people will knock eXp and say, well, they're all about agent attraction, they're all about recruitment. Well, look, every brokerage is about recruitment. Every single brokerage. If you don't know that, you're clearly missing the picture. Like, Keller Williams hires team leaders in their market centers. The team leader's job is to recruit agents. That's literally their quota. That's their job. Their literal job is to just recruit. So if you're going to say eXp is all about agent attraction because they've given a revenue share to their agents so that their agents can go out there and help grow the brokerage, which is what's happening, and why eXp is like the fastest growing brokerage in the world now, is because they've equipped all of their agents with tools and value proposition to go out there and attract agents for eXp through the revenue share model. Keller Williams has the profit share, which, a lot of people don't join for the profit share because it's not it's not the biggest incentive. Keller Williams, one of the big incentives they preach is training, and we'll get into that in a bit, but they always hire a team leader to do the attraction for them. That's literally their job. And RE/MAX has recruiters. I've talked to them. When I interviewed brokerages, I interviewed all the big ones, Century 21, RE/MAX, Keller Williams, like all of them. And they all had recruiters that I talked to. So if people say, oh, eXp is all about recruitment, literally every brokerage is about recruitment. That is literally how brokerages make their money. If brokerages don't have realtors, they don't make any money. The only way they make money is through having real estate agents and taking splits and fees from them for providing them with compliance services, managing broker services, all these other things. It's a platform. And that's how I see eXp is. It's a platform for you to build your business on, and you are an owner within that platform. So that's a little bit about agent attraction, revenue share, burst profit share, all this kind of stuff. Let's go on to the next thing, sponsorship. Sponsorship is the same with both. When you join a eXp or Keller Williams, you have to choose a sponsor. Okay. So if you join eXp, you can choose me as your sponsor. If you join Keller Williams, you can choose a Keller Williams agent as your sponsor. Now, the relationship is not the same in both places, but the concept is very much the same. And the reason is because there's a lot more money in eXp sponsoring an agent, right? So like if you list me, Eric Preston, as your sponsor when you join eXp on your application, and you sell and you make $80,000, right? Going back to here, if you make $80,000, you will have paid eXp $16,000, right? So if you make $80K, you'll have paid eXp $16K. eXp is going to share about 8 of that back with their agents, and I'm going to get a portion of that. Now, the dollar amount on my front line is about $2,800 per year is the most I would make. On my second line, it's about $3,200 per year, right? Now, that's not life-changing money for me. Where the real fruit of this is if I help you attract other agents and I help you build a team. That's my sponsor, Jason's specialty, is help you scaling your business, helping you build a team. I help with the marketing stuff. That's when it gets fruitful, because if you bring in 3 agents underneath you, all of a sudden I'm making, $10,000 a year if they're all successful. But the cool thing is we only make money if you make money. So it's a win-win-win. Like, we're only successful if you're successful. So the sponsorship relationship, although it's the same in eXp and Keller Williams, there's a lot more money in a revenue share model than a profit share model. So what that's resulted in is people like myself and my sponsor, Jason, who have built coaching programs around the sponsorship model, meaning we literally will coach you for free if you just list us as your sponsor when you join eXp, so that we're incentivized on your success and it's a win-win relationship and we can actually get invested in your business as business partners. Keller Williams, it's a profit share. So the amount of money you make is solely dependent on the profitability of the brokerage. So people can't rely on that. They haven't built the coaching programs that you see that are out there in eXp, where people are offering these huge value propositions for you to join underneath them. So the sponsorship model is a bit different. So let's go on to our next point, which is training. Training. Ignore my lack of spelling here. The training at eXp versus the training at Keller Williams. So Keller Williams has been given awards and given a lot of celebration around their training. They're labeled as one of the best companies for training. eXp and Keller Williams have similar mindsets about that. They offer a lot to their agents in terms of training, but there's one key difference. At Keller Williams, how many training sessions you get per week is depending on how many training sessions your office hosts per week. So in my office, it was about 5 a week. So I'm just going to speak to, I would say about 3 to 5 a week. So in my office at Keller Williams, it was about 3 to 5 sessions a week, and they were on business building, on contracts, on whatever it may be at the time. We'd have guest speakers. I was a guest speaker at my office actually before I joined the office. So they have about 3 to 5 sessions a week, and those are hosted in the brokerage, and sometimes they'll live stream them online to like their Facebook group or something. eXp, and that's because this is a franchise model, meaning your market center works in that one location. eXp Realty is a centralized platform, meaning there's one eXp Realty. So they do all their training in eXp World, which is their virtual world, which, by the way, when I joined, I thought was a little ridiculous, but now that I've actually got to use it and see how it works and see how people engage with it, it's actually pretty cool. And so your training happens in eXp World, and there's 40 hours a week. So there's 40 hours of training. And why can they do that? Because eXp is one company and they do all their training in one place. Train from agents all over the place who are hosting their trainings online. Because it's centralized, you get way more training. That's one of the big difference in trainings is Keller Williams is franchised out and your training is dependent on the quality of that training in your brokerage, how many sessions they host in your brokerage. eXp is centralized, so you just get a lot more volume of it. And then if you combine that with your sponsor, For example, Jason has 3 coaching calls a week. I have 1 to 2 coaching calls per week that you get a part of for free. We have a bunch of course material that you get for free just for joining us. You get basically a business planning session. Like we've value packed what we offer agents that join us so that you not only get the 40 hours a week training that I talk about here, you also get your sponsors training, whatever that may be. I would hope you join a sponsor that you resonate with, that you vibe with, that you feel like you're gonna get a lot from. And by the way, when you're choosing a sponsor at eXp or Keller Williams, I'll give you some advice on how to do that. Your sponsor should have 2 things. One is a skill set that you feel like you don't have that you want. Almost any sponsor will fulfill that. The second is a platform to deliver that information to you in an effective way. Meaning, are they running around selling 50 homes a year and too busy to care about you? A lot of sponsors probably are. Or do they have a set in stone coaching program that they do consistently, that they're going to be there for you, and that's their business? So like, for example, I run a marketing agency. This is my main business. Jason spends 5 hours a week on his real estate business and they sell 450 homes a year. That's why I partner with him, is because he's highly leveraged and he spends all of his time on his coaching program. So do I. So we're able to offer a lot. So when you're choosing a sponsor, think about those things. Whether it's Keller Williams or eXp, choose someone who you can get value from and who can actually deliver it to you in an effective way. So at a whole, these are the big things that people talk about with the eXp Keller Williams relationship. There's a lot of different details you can get into online. I'm not going to cover all of it. I just wanted to cover some of the big ones. eXp has their icon program, which I really like. When you sell a certain amount, when you do a certain amount of production, in a lot of markets, it's like 35 homes a year. It depends on your market and your commission, but they'll actually give you back this split, this 16K here. You can actually get that back in stock by hitting Icon Agent. So literally, they will give you all of that back in stock through their Icon program. Not necessarily all of it. There's some intricacies to it. I think it works out, and don't quote me on this. It's like you get 12K in stock and then you get another 4K in stock if you show up to a couple events as a speaker. So there's some every year. So there's intricacies to it, but you'll get a lot of that back. You can also get stock. So I'm just gonna actually write stock here because this is a real thing. My stock is like blowing up right now with eXp because every time you bring on a new agent, like every time I bring on a new agent, and at the time of this video, I have about 90. eXp awards me stock when they sell their first property. And it works out to like anywhere from like $300 to $600, somewhere in there. Don't quote me on that either, but it works out to that amount and then it vests over 3 years. So you actually get stock awarded for being a sponsor and you get stock awarded for doing really well. Let's actually talk about fees before we go. So eXp is about 85 in the US. And then in Canada, it's like $139 a month. Keller Williams is cheaper on fees. It's about 60 to 80. But again, this can vary. So don't like take this as truth. Find out from your local brokerage what these are. So yes, eXp loses out in the fee department a little bit. But what I always say to people is like, never make a decision on your brokerage based on fees. That's not the right mindset. You need to make a decision based on the upside you see. How much potential are you going to reach? How high are you going to go? Because if you sell 50 homes a year and you're making $500,000 a year, these like, $60 a month fees, the cost of buying your own CRM doesn't matter anymore. Don't focus on like the software and the fees. That's not the right mindset. That's not how you think like an entrepreneur. You need to focus on the bigger picture. Keller Williams has a little bit less in fees. eXp has a little bit more in fees. Arguably, I think you do get a bit more for that. But again, I don't think that's something that you really should focus on. So the one thing I will say about fees, because I get this question a lot, is if you bring on 2 agents who produce, that is underneath you, you sponsor them. So say you join me and you leverage what Jason and I do, and then we help you bring in 2 other people. So that is $2,800 times 2. So that's basically $5,600 per year that you would make for bringing in these 2 agents, right? So now if you take your fees here, so if you take 139 times, what is that? 139 times 12 is 1,600. So in Canada, for example, that is 1,600 a year. Now, if you take that in context, when you're making $5,600 in revenue share from bringing a couple people on, you're all of a sudden not paying any fees anymore. And then if you get, 5 agents underneath you, all of a sudden you're making like 15K, and all of a sudden your split doesn't matter too much anymore, right? So you can go feeless with eXp pretty easily. But anyways, I just wanted to break down, this isn't everything. Like there's a lot of intricacies out there on the 2 different brokerages. They're really complex in their own unique ways. As a whole, I think they're both good companies. My big advice would be if you join either, choose a good sponsor. With Keller Williams, just make sure you vet your specific market center because they can vary a lot. And with eXp, you want to vet your sponsors, make sure you're asking, how many homes do you sell? Like, what's your main business? Like, do you have capacity to focus on this? If you want to talk about joining us, you can check out collaborativemovement.com. You can fill out a quick application there. It'll give you an opportunity to book a call with myself or one of our partners, but usually me. And generally we can have a conversation if it's the right fit for you. So as always, thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Give this video a like if you liked it. Leave comments below if you have any questions. I know there's a lot of content out there on eXp versus everybody, but I hope this was a very honest portrayal of the value proposition between the two. I hope you guys got some value. So make sure you subscribe. I put out content like this every single week, and I will see you in the next video.